morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Alderman Oberlin, Mayor Solomon, Council General Utěšený, Václav Barták, the director or the principal of the school in Buštěhrad, and a special guest, Miss Manley, who is the state representative for the state of Illinois, representing Crest Hill. Today we gather here not only to remember the tragedy that befell the village of Lidice in 1942, but also to honor the resilience of its people and to celebrate the continued unity of the Czech and Slovak communities here in the United States. And we will begin our program with the presentation of colors. So please rise for the presentation of colors by the American Sokol Stráž under the direction of Teddy Polášek.
Forward. Up. Close. Pull. Hands. Close. 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 Present. Close. Close.
Please remain standing as we continue with the national anthems of the Czech Republic, Slovakia, and the United States, presented by the United Moravian Society Singers and Assembly. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance presented by the students from the T.G. Masaryk Czech School.
I pledge to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and please be seated.
And right like this. Forward, march. Right like this. Forward, march.
Once again, good morning, everyone. My name is Irina Čajková, and on behalf of the TG Masaryk Czech School, it is my honor to welcome you to this year's commemoration at the Lidice Memorial. This is a special year for us. Although our school has participated in the Lidice Remembrance since 2013, that was when our students first presented here, this is the first time that we've had the privilege and responsibility of organizing the entire event. And we are deeply grateful to the Czech American Congress for entrusting us with this important task. Since the early 90s, the Congress has been the guardian of this tradition, continuing the legacy first established by the Czechoslovak National Council. And thanks to their dedication, the memory of Lidice has remained alive in this community for decades. And we thank them for their long-standing commitment and the confidence that they placed in us to carry it forward. As we stepped into this new role, we quickly realized what big shoes we had to fill. And thankfully, we did not do it alone. We relied heavily on the experience and guidance of Věra Wild and John Přitasil of the Czech American Congress, as well as the unwavering support and patience of Alderman Tina Oberlin, representing the city of Crest Hill. And we are truly thankful for their help in every step of the way. This commemoration would not be what it is without the continued participation of our longtime partners, the American Sokol Guard Straž, led by Ted Polášek, and the United Moravian Societies, now under the leadership of Denise Kadlček. This year's program includes a special presentation by guests from Buštěhrad, a village next to Lidice, where children from Lidice attended school before the tragedy, and where children from the area still go to school. I first met Principal Václav Barták and the Vice Principal Silva Winklová at the end of last summer to discuss a possible letter exchange with the children from our school. But the collaboration quickly grew, and we decided to invite the students from Buštěhrad to take part in today's commemoration. So I would also like to take this moment to sincerely thank the host families who have been caring for the young ladies from Buštěhrad since their arrival on Wednesday night, welcoming them into their homes and showing them the best of Chicago. And our deep thanks also go to CSA Lodge, Harrison Garfield, and HUS 378 CSA Fraternal Life, whose generous support made the students' stay and today's event even more meaningful. This annual gathering at the Lidice Memorial is one of the rare occasions when so many Czech American and Slovak American or Czechoslovak American organizations come together, not only to remember, but to stand side by side. In a world that too often divides, moments like these remind us how deeply we need one another. Our collaboration with the school in Buštěhrad and the hospitality shown by local families is more than a cultural exchange. It is a gesture of care, trust, and connection that crosses generations and borders. By coming together in this way, we show our children what it means to honor history, to build bridges, and to carry forward the values of empathy, resilience, and solidarity. So thank you all for being here today and for helping us to continue this meaningful tradition. And I now invite the American Sokol Straž and the representatives of participating organizations to present wreaths and flowers at the memorial. Thank you. And now please welcome Consul General of the Czech Republic, Mr. Jakub Utěšený.
Krásné, dobré dopoledne. Good morning to everyone. I want to start by expressing my heartfelt thanks to the city of Crest and to the mayor and to the Czech School of Tomáš Garrigue Masaryk from Cicero for organizing this beautiful, solemn and deeply meaningful commemoration of the Lidice tragedy so far from homeland of mine and many of us here. My thanks also go to all of you who have come today because through your presence, marching, singing, and silently remembering, you help keep the tragic yet vital legacy of Lidice alive. That legacy endures through gatherings like this one, and through them, it speaks through borders and across generations. A few days ago, before coming here, I had a chance to read several copies of letters written by Lidice children after they were deported to Poland in 1942. By then, the Nazis had already decided they would be deported and sent to the extermination camp at Chełmno. Unaware of the fate that awaited them, the children were briefly allowed to write home. These letters were meant to reassure their remaining relatives, to create the illusion that the children had simply been relocated for re-education. In those letters, the children asked for food, a shred of bread, pencils, erasers, so they could write more. They longed for the news of their parents from whom they had been separated. They tried to be brave. Just days later, they were all murdered. More than 80 years have passed, and it's still painful to speak of. These small letters remain one of the most devastating documents of what Nazi ideology meant in practice. If we could return to June 10th, 1945, exactly 80 years ago, and we would find ourselves at Lidice, we would be standing on empty fields amid the first large public commemoration after the war. Thousands had gathered there near the mass graves of villages' men. President Beneš was there, along with the representatives of the Czechoslovak government. There was also a crowd of women dressed in black. These were Lidice women who had returned to the side of their former village for the first time since the fatal day 3 years earlier. For them, the most urgent question was, where are our kids? They were still hoping, desperately, they could be found. At that time, no one yet fully understood the scale of the Nazi crimes. The murder of hundreds of innocent people, including most of the Lidice's children, and the deliberate destruction of the village itself remain among the most horrific examples of how hatred, once turned into policy, can erase an entire community. The goal of Nazis was not only to punish, it was to send a message of terror, to break a nation's spirit, to extinguish any resistance, and in doing so the perpetrators abandoned all sense of humanity. That is why it's essential for young people to learn what happened in Lidice and also in Ležáky, and for all the generations to continue revisiting and passing on these stories both to honor the memory of those who had to die, but also to reflect on what enabled such tragedies to occur and what can be done to prevent them from happening again. It began with hatred, with a desire to dominate, to dehumanize, and sadly, the world is still not immune against such ideologies. In our own time, we've seen the streets of Bucha, Irpina, Borodyanka. Once again, civilians tortured, executed, this time by Putin soldiers. Families torn apart and children kidnapped and then sent for re-education. These are haunting echoes of the past, images we hoped never to see again. They remind us that the Lidice legacy is not only a memory, it's a warning, it's a responsibility. That is why commemorations like this one matter. They help us remember not only what was lost, but also what must be protected. Human dignity, compassion, truth, and the most importantly, the courage to stand against the hatred when it begins to rise. This, I believe, is our unspoken promise to all those who were murdered, not only in Lidice, in Ležáky, but in every village and town where totalitarian violence has struck. So let us be guided by the words engraved in the stone behind me. Truth shall prevail, echoed later by Václav Havel. Truth and love must prevail over the lies and hatred. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Consul General Utěšený, for your words and your presence here today. Now I would like to welcome the young ladies from the elementary school of Otapavel in Buštěhrad for their presentation. They will present in Czech, but those of you who do not speak Czech received the translated program, so you can follow what the ladies are saying here. And with them, I also welcome the Vice Principal of the Buštěhrad School, Ms. Silva Winklová.
Byli jsme Lidice a stále jsme. Přežili jsme ticho, které křičí dodnes.
Představujeme Libuši Millerovou. Zmíněna na fotografii mezi přeživšími lidickými dětmi.
Narodili jsme se ve vesnici zvané Lidice. Naše dětství, smích, zahrady, láska. Pak přišli oni, zabouchli dveře, sebrali otce. V jednom okamžiku jsme přestali být dětmi.
Představujeme Hanu Špotovou. Jedna z prvních 3 dětí vybraných po němčině přímo v tělocvičně v Kladně.
Byla jsem vybrána. Řekli, že mám správnou krev. Zasloužím si nový domov. Německý domov. Ale co můj táta, moje máma, moje jméno?
Představujeme Marii Hanfovou. Spolu se sestrou Annou a bratrem Václavem zachráněna z lože, určena k poněmčení.
Jmenovala jsem se Marie. Řekli, budeš Gretel. Zapomněla jsem češtinu. Musela jsem. Za každé české slovo pohlavek.
Představujeme Emily Chválovou. Určena k poněmčení popsala život v dětském domově Puškau.
Dostali jsme nová jména, nové domovy, nová pravidla, ale nikdo nám nedal nový život. To, co jsme ztratili, nám už nikdo nikdy nevrátil.
Představujeme Václava Zelenku. Také přežil poněmčení. Na konci války adoptoval německou rodinou a po válce se vrátil zpět do Československa. Někdy jsem plakal potají, jako Rolf jsem žil v Německu. Ale někde hluboko uvnitř jsem věděl, že nejsem Němec. Jsem Vašek, z Lidic.
Jo, představujeme Václava Hanfa.
Poněmčen jako Hans Joachim Strauss. Přežil i výcvikový tábor SS a Hitlerjugend. Po válce identifikován díky fotografiím.
Byli jsme dětmi v táborech SS, pušky, řady, rozkazy. Nechtěl jsem být vojákem, chtěl jsem být jen dítětem, chtěl jsem domů.
Představujeme Janu Millerovou.
Rovněž uvedena na společné poválečné fotografii přeživších dětí z Lidic.
Nechceme pomstu, chceme paměť, chceme ticho, které mluví. Chceme svět, kde se lidem neberou jména, rodiny a domovy.
Jsme děti z Lidic.
Ztratili jsme rodiče.
Ztratili jsme domov. Ztratili jsme jazyky.
Ale nestratili jsme paměť.
Vyprávíme, co se stalo.
Ne kvůli sobě, kvůli vám. Aby se to už nikdy neopakovalo.
Jsme dcery Lidic, navždy.
Pamatujte, prosíme.
Thank you, Silva, and thank you, students, for this moving presentation. And now please welcome State Representative Natalie Manley, followed by Alderman Tina Oberlin and Mayor of Crest Hill, Mayor Solomon.
Good morning. I'm very honored to be here. We've got a wonderful day for this. You all know the history. Every time I take part in this ceremony, I think it's been 13 years now, the part that always makes me hold back tears is the suffering and the fear that the children had, and the women looking for their children. I think we come to these events because not only do we want to remember the people, it's our duty to remember the people, it's our obligation to remember them, but we all search for answers. Why did this happen? But the more important question is how. And I think the Consul General hit the nail on the head. It's hate, it's fear, it's not knowing the truth. And there are so many times today that we don't know what's true. We fight to find, is this real? Is this truth? But I think if you think about the marking of people, the isolation of a group, the hate and the vitriol that is out there in our very midst today should make us all stand at attention and know that why is easier and how is what we have to do to prevent it from happening again. We can't stand by. We can't pretend that this kind of thing can't happen. We know right here in our neighborhoods, what has happened. This is real. The history books tell a story, and we know that history has a tendency to repeat itself, but not as long as we stand vigilant, able to fight against hatred, able to fight against the isolation, the marking of a group. We can't let that happen again. Thank you for allowing me to be here. It's an honor to stand before you and to be joined in remembrance of the people that perished that day on June 10th, 1942. Let's not let it happen again. Thank you. I would like you to put your hands together for the lovely and magnanimous Alderwoman Tina Oberlin.
Well, I do want to thank everybody for being here today because this is such a solemn and necessary memorial service. I have said before, and I'll reiterate today, I grew up right down the street from this monument when it was just a monument. It did not have all the accoutrements that have been added over the years. And I spent a good deal of my childhood here. And I would come to the ceremony, as I said in the past, every year, and listen to the speeches and the singers. And even though I was just a child, I've said it before, the passion and the feeling that was evoked during those events will never leave me. It's in my heart and my soul forever. And although I was not born to the Czech, I've been adopted, they tell me, I will continue to do my very best to keep this memorial service every year until I can no longer do it. But I do want to say that I remember as a young child, my mother, who I only had for 6 short years, would beat into my head that, Tina, you are responsible for helping people who need help. No matter how tough you think you have it in life, there are people all over the world far worse off than you are, and you owe it to them to do whatever you can to help them. My mother's words have never been lost on me, and it's been more than 60 years. So I do remember, and I honor her, and I want to honor all the lives that were perished in this horrible, horrible tragedy on that day and the days that followed. And remind everybody what the other speakers have said. The reason we need to remember this is not only for them and their souls and the lives lost, but to make sure this doesn't repeat itself. And you look at our world today, and it is a big fear. So I hope everybody goes home and remembers what this event is about and what it represents, not only then, but now. And help you see why it's so important that we never, never, never forget this. And I hope you also take the time to read the plaque that is over there, the bronze plaque we had installed, because that has the words of the original monument on it, and they're very profound. And I would like to give my special thanks to our building commissioner, Don Seaman, and Jake and Adam from his department, who so graciously stepped up to assist us today with this, and we could not have done it without them. So please, I beg you to give them a round of applause for all their work today. And I want to thank you all for coming out. We got a lovely day, and I hope afterwards you enjoy some refreshments, but don't forget why we're here, because it'll be in my heart for the next 60 years. So thank you all very kindly.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ray Solomon, and I am the mayor of the city of Crest Hill. Thank you for your presence here today. Thank you for all the years that you've come to this ceremony in the city of Crest Hill. To the familiar faces that I see out there, the older generation, thank you for your commitment, your dedication, not only today but every day, to the city of Crest Hill as we honor those who perished in 1942. To the young ladies in the front row here, thank you for your fantastic presentation that you made. You are the next generation. To all of us older people sitting out here, we are trying to lay the foundation for you by you being here, because some of you will be here for years to come, and you'll be preparing this ceremony for many years to come. So to the older generation, thank you very much for laying that foundation. To the younger generation, thank you for promoting and for carrying on to the tradition that's been for 83 years here. So with all the tragedies going on in the United States and throughout the world, especially with the atrocities still happening in Ukraine, we certainly want to offer our prayers to the people of Ukraine. There are many similarities of what is happening today in Ukraine and what occurred in Lidice on June 10th, 1942. Both groups have shown an unbelievable amount of strength, courage, and resilience. And at this time, I think it would be appropriate that we offer a moment of silent prayer and hope for a quick resolution to end this conflict. So I would ask for a moment of silence to all those who have died in this senseless war already. Thank you. It is my honor and privilege as the mayor to welcome you to the city of Crest Hill. Your presence here today displays an overwhelming amount of support, honor, and remembrance for those who perished at Lidice in the atrocities of June 10th, 1942. We as a city are proud to have this beautiful memorial garden in our city. We as a city are proud to be one of only 2 memorials to honor and remember the tragedy of Lidice in the United States. We extend our sincerest gratitude for the sacrifices that you make to continue this tradition to honor and memorialize those who have died. We thank you for your commitments and your efforts to pass these traditions on to the next generation. It has been great to see the young people participate in this ceremony for the last several years. It is because of your commitment and dedication that these young people will carry on this tradition, and it is because of this next generation that the memory of those who perished in 1942 will never be forgotten, and Lidice will continue to live. We as a city are proud to be part of the Czechoslovakian culture and the traditions. As we gather today to commemorate the 83rd anniversary of this memorial, your passion, your commitment, your dedication, and your loyalty has not wavered. What a tremendous tribute and honor you have made and continue to make to those who have died. For 83 years, this community and now this city of Crest Hill has displayed an unwavering passion, commitment, dedication, and loyalty to the memory of the residents of Lidice. As the city of Crest Hill continues to grow and prosper, so does the Lidice Monument and Garden. I am forever grateful for all of our past, present, and future city employees and volunteers for all of their commitment and hard work in maintaining this beautiful garden, restoring the monument, and their vigilance to the memory of Lidice. Our traditions of the past are a direct bond to our present and to our future. We meet here today to never forget those who gave their lives at the hands of Nazi oppression. The atrocities committed at Lidice are a perfect example of good, always triumphing over evil, and right, always prevailing over wrong. We will continue to remember and proclaim that Lidice lives, words inscribed on our original monument. I not only welcome you to the city of Crest Hill today, but every day. Our city is your city. Please feel free at the conclusion of today's ceremony to walk through the garden, to enjoy its beauty, and to honor the village of Lidice and all of its past and present residents. May God bless you. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Thank you, State Representative Manley, and thank you, Alderwoman Oberlin and Mayor Solomon, for your words and also for your long-time support of our community and this event. And now I welcome the principal of the elementary school in Buštěhrad, Mr. Václav Barták.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, I stand before you today as the head of the elementary school in Buštěhrad, a small town in the Czech Republic, just a few kilometers from Lidice. In the early 1940s, before the war struck, children from Lidice walked every day to our school. They were our pupils. They lived in our classrooms, played in the schoolyard, carried their notebooks and their hopes with them. They were part of our community, our lives. Then came June 10th, 1942. That morning, everything changed. The village of Lidice was wiped off the map by Nazi forces. The men were murdered, the women deported, and the children, our children, were taken away. Most never returned. But Lidice did not vanish. The world responded. People across continents, in towns and cities, in gardens and hearts, refused to forget. Places like this one here in Illinois took the name Lidice as a vow that hatred would not have the final word, that the name would live, that the memory will survive. Over the years, Lidice has become a bridge that connects the past with the present and one community with another. From our classrooms in Buštěhrad to children in Chicago, from the heart of Bohemia to Stoke-on-Trent in the UK, the hometown of Barnett Stross, who helped lead the Lidice Shall Live movement after the war. Thanks to Lidice, our students today are learning not only history, but connection. They exchange letters, drawings, thoughts. They meet others across borders and understand that remembrance is not about sorrow alone, but about solidarity, peace, and hope. Today, as someone who leads the school where those children once studied, I feel a deep responsibility, not only to honor their memory, but to carry their story forward. Education is not only about books and numbers. It is about truth. It is about dignity. It is about remembering. Dear friends, I want to thank this community and all who keep the spirit of Lidice alive. You remind us that the story of one village can echo around the world, that the loss of one child is a loss to all of us, and that the light of memory is stronger than the darkness of violence. Let us continue to teach, to remember, and to stand together for the children of Lidice and for every child who deserves to grow up in peace. Lidice lives, and through us, it always will. Thank you.
Thank you, Principal Barták, for these kind and thoughtful words. And I would now like to ask the United Moravian Society singers to return with a selection of traditional and commemorative songs.
Srdce potěšení. Zelení hájové, bejvali jste vy, moje bejvali jste mýho srdce potěšení. Ničko už dlouhý čas, neslyším tačku hlas, na obloze se ukázal smutný čas. Ničko už dlouhý čas, neslyším tačku hlas, na obloze se ukázal smutný čas. Dostal jsem šáteček, každém rohu kvíteček a uprostřed z rozmarinky pěkný věneček. Dostal jsem šáteček, každém rohu kvíteček a uprostřed z rozmarinky pěkný věneček. Ten věneček zelený, z rozmarinky pletený, ten mě dala maminka pro potěšení. Ten věneček zelený, z rozmarinky pletený, ten mě dala maminka pro potěšení. A česká. Ta je tak hezká, tak jako na louce kytička, vyrostla ta naše písnička, až se ta písnička ztratí, pak už nic nebudem mít. Jestli nám zahyne, všechno si pomíne, potom už nebude žít.
Thank you to the Moravian Societies, United Moravian Societies singers for the beautiful selection of songs. And before we conclude, I would like to take a moment to recognize someone whose story beautifully illustrates the spirit of community that defines this gathering. 2 years ago, during the commemoration of the 150th birthday of Mayor Anton Cermak, we met Rob Carter, one of Cermak's relatives. And since then, Rob has become not only a good friend of the T.G. Masaryk School, but also a student of the Czech language. And he has first learned about Lidice through the scrapbook of his grandmother. But it took him until last year when he visited Lidice for the first time, this ceremony. And he was so deeply moved that Rob, an avid gardener, offered to take on care and maintenance of the rose garden that you see here today. So Rob, together with the team of the city of Crest Hill, is someone to thank for this beautiful rose garden. His gesture is a reminder of the quiet ways in which community grows, through care, through connection, and through simple but meaningful acts. Rob's commitment is just one example of how remembrance can inspire action and how good deeds truly are contagious. So please help me in thanking Rob for helping to keep this place beautiful and alive with meaning. And before you leave, as the mayor already told you, step inside of the rose garden. It has... The garden is not only a tribute to the people of Lidice, but it's also a symbol of how each generation continues to honor the memory in new and thoughtful ways. And once this commemoration concludes, we also invite everyone to stay for refreshments, generously prepared by the Parchi family, whose children attend our school every Saturday. And we sincerely thank not only the parents, but also the children who are now helping with the baking, for getting up early on Sunday morning to bake the delicious and traditional Czech koláče for all of us. As we conclude today's commemoration, we would like to invite the American Sokol's Guard Straž to retire the colors. So thank you all once again for being here. And just on a personal note, I apologize for keeping my sunglasses on, but I have terrible allergies and you don't want to see what's underneath. So I apologize for that. And please stick around, go have some refreshments, talk to the young ladies from Buštěhrad, the principal, mingle, make new friends. And we will see you here next year, hopefully. Thank you very much.